I've been fortunate enough to have worked in three continents. I started my career in the United Kingdom, worked extensively within Europe, then moved to North America for 13 years and finished up my career here in Asia. Most of my exposure has been to the chemical industry and also a few years working in the mining industry, and I have a lot of exposure as well to the construction industry. Most of my career has been focused on strategic planning, analysis, mergers and acquisitions, and I've also had several sessions as a general manager, both in North America and in Asia Pacific. And in those roles, I was put in charge of loss-making businesses, and I was able to effect turnarounds in both North America, Japan, Korea, and down in Australia. So that's been a summary of my career. I joined the CFO Centre because I always knew that retirement was not for me. But I was also aware that at some point either I or my employer would decide that it was time for me to leave the corporate world. So 7 years ago, I joined the CFO Centre to get experience of running a diverse portfolio and to gain experience of consulting with various different industries. The CFO Centre for me was an obvious choice. Obviously, it had global reach, excellent training, and gives you a certain amount of instant credibility. So for me, it was a perfect match. Before we get into a specific example of what a CFO can do and what I have done, I think one of the most important things, and one of the things I take the greatest pride in, is training the owner and the finance team, using the knowledge that I have, passing on that 35 years of experience at the C-suite level, and watching the staff develop. That gives me some of my greatest satisfactions. In a specific example, working with a company, I was approached by a company here in Singapore, and the owner was about to do his first mergers and acquisitions. He had no experience in that area, and I worked with him from the start to the successful integration. Along with some other activities we took, we were able to grow his business by 250% in 3 years. And it's that kind of knowledge that we can bring as CFOs. As I mentioned, I joined the CFO Centre 7 years ago, initially alongside my full-time job, and as you can imagine, that was quite challenging. I quit full-time work in March 2020, just as the COVID pandemic hit, so perhaps not the ideal time. But I've enjoyed the last 9 months working with the CFO Centre. I would say I've been happier in my work in the last 9 months than I was in the last few years of my full-time career. It's interesting how a journey like this can open new opportunities. As a result of my work alongside the CFO Centre, I now have a weekly radio station on ibgr.network. So great things come out of this, and as I say, I've been much happier in the last 9 years. I treat consulting as a full-time role at the moment. I work full-time at the job, but knowing that I can slow down when I need to and I have that flexibility is much appreciated.